through his research, he found that men don't actually have lower empathy than women. We're talking about in terms of generalities here.
Mm.
But what happens often in relationships is that when a man perceives a situation to be unfair, then he shuts off his empathy. So the reason I'm saying that is because often when I hear men speak from that place of pain or fear as it pertains to relationships, that research pops up in my head. Then ask myself if they're shutting off their empathy, because as a woman it comes across as low empathy. So when they talk about they're laughing at the women, ha, look what happened to you. To me, you are having low empathy for this person's situation or what they're going through. The question that pops up in my mind is, if they are shutting off their empathy for this particular woman or for women in general, what do they perceive as being unfair toward them? So often
Yeah.
I'll think about that. Okay, what are these men perceiving as being unfair toward themselves or toward men? Does that make sense? Like that's something that I will often ponder or think about.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So it's like there seems to be something that they may possibly be missing, or may not be. They may feel like they be missing out on that women are getting that they don't get. Pretty much.
And they'll almost even gain pleasure in that. So it's like, if I feel like you're being unfair toward me, I'm going to shut off my empathy and I will gain pleasure in your unhappiness or in your pain or in your discomfort. That's how the
Yeah.
researcher basically defined it, how men can often appear in their relationships, like in conflict in their relationships. In 85% of heterosexual marriages, the husband is the one most likely to engage in stonewalling, a behavior where a person withdraws from an interaction by shutting down emotionally, avoiding eye contact, or refusing to respond. Stonewalling often occurs during conflict as a way to avoid discomfort or feelings of being overwhelmed, but it can block healthy communication and problem solving in a relationship. Biologically, men tend to become more easily overwhelmed by relationship conflict than women. This is because men often experience heightened physiological stress responses, such as increased heart rate and cortisol levels, which can make it harder for them to stay calm or engage during disagreements. Men often feel that emotionally shutting down or stonewalling is their only option during conflict with their partners. This reaction is often driven by feelings of being overwhelmed or unequipped to handle the emotional intensity, leading them to withdraw as a way to protect themselves from further stress. 5 signs you may be the primary stonewaller in your relationship. Number 1, you walk away from conflict. When a disagreement starts, you leave the room or physically remove yourself from the situation rather than staying to talk it through. Number 2, you go silent during disagreements. Instead of responding, you remain quiet and avoid engaging in the conversation, leaving your partner to carry the discussion alone. Number 3, you avoid eye contact. During arguments, you look away, stare at your phone, or focus on something else to avoid connecting with your partner. Number 4, you dismiss attempts to reconnect. When your partner tries to address an issue later, you shrug it off, change the subject, or say, "I don't want to talk about it." And number 5, you show disinterest in resolving conflict. You respond with short, dismissive phrases like "whatever," "fine," or "I don't care," signaling a lack of willingness to work through the problem. These behaviors reflect a pattern of emotional withdrawal that can make resolving conflicts difficult and may leave the other partner feeling dismissed or unsupported. Five signs a wife may not be recognizing her husband's emotional overwhelm during conflict. Number 1, she continues to press him for answers. She keeps asking questions or demanding responses even when he has gone silent or visibly withdrawn, missing signs that he may need a break. Number 2, she dismisses his need for space. If he asks to step away or take a moment to calm down, she insists on resolving the issue immediately, not noticing his escalating stress. Number 3, she interprets his silence as indifference. She assumes he doesn't care about the issue, rather than understanding that he may be struggling to process his emotions or articulate his thoughts. Number 4, she escalates her tone or intensity. Instead of softening her approach, she raises her voice or intensifies the argument, further overwhelming him and increasing his urge to shut down. And number 5, she overlooks nonverbal signs of distress. She misses cues like his avoidance of eye contact, fidgeting, or shallow breathing, which may indicate he's feeling emotionally flooded. Relationships are shaped by repeated behaviors that create lasting dynamics over time. Whether positive or negative, personal accountability requires us to acknowledge that if our partner consistently responds to us in a way we dislike, it may be because we've unintentionally, quote unquote, trained them through our actions. For instance, a distant partner may unknowingly encourage their partner to become clingy, while a clingy partner may unintentionally push their partner to become more distant. This cycle reinforces itself, highlighting the need for self-awareness and conscious effort to break unhelpful patterns. If you've tried couples therapy, self-help books, advice from friends, family, or pastors, and your relationship still feels stuck, it may be time for a new approach. Join us for our free live webinar and discover how to finally break free and transform your relationship in 2025.